I am so thankful for all of you. Genuinely. Look at me. I used to be 500 pounds. I want to come on this channel to discuss a few things. I now have a full-time job, man. I work 40 hours a week, 4 days a week, 10-hour shifts. And I have to admit, it's awesome. Like, if you have not had a job yet, let's say you're watching my channel and maybe you're like me and you were struggling about going into a job because you didn't realize you were neurodivergent and really you had one real job. You were 15, you were bussing, and it was the best job you ever had, and you actually cried when you quit because you were being taught hard lessons. But this internet thing was taking off, and you wanted to work online, so you spent the next 15 plus years working online, right? Even if you're the hardest worker in the room, when your channel blew up and you were working 10-hour days, 12-hour days, before you would go on vacations, you would grind, you would sit in that chair, and you would put in 80-hour weeks to make sure that content was done for the next couple weeks while you were gone. You were the person that outworked and outstrived. You were the person that found the patterns, the recognition, the search engines. You were the one that went out of his way to help others, but you truly never helped yourself. You were the one that always connected in live streams, and if you remember those live streams, man, I was a people person. I was my dad. I was wanting to check in on people. After my dad passed away, I actually found out from quite a few of my friends that my dad used to just check in on them. My dad was a special man, and I got a lot of him in me. Just like the craziness in me from my mom. Mom, no pun intended. My mom was the one that could look at problems and solve them. She was the one that could put in more work than anybody, but when it came for asking for help or things, I feel like that's where some people lack. So I'll be honest with you. A year ago was probably the hardest time of my life. I was in a relationship for about 2 years, and I got broken up with. Now, I contributed probably to a lot of things because I was so caught up in door dashing. I was so caught up in thinking I was doing the right thing and truly not putting in the hard work that's required. And that hard work phrase comes back quite a bit because that hard work phase, if you've known, if you watched my channel for a long time, was the thing from CM Pulse 2018. Those Southern promos. It's kind of like when you find out I'm neurodivergent, you stim a lot, you start having accents, good mate, and you start talking Australian, and everybody thinks you're not British, you're Australian, and then you get made fun of and you realize, oh, that's just a vocal stim because you have the muscles that when you hunch over, you can't speak. So you start speaking under your breath. So if you've watched my channel, there's a 15-year history of me sitting in bad posture, not talking under my breath, and not breathing properly, and raging and going through this. So the last 15 years is essentially people's undiagnosed conditions, just being able to rage fit. And guess what? You made money from advertisers. Well, just like my relationship that got thrown out the window when I got yeeted and blocked, I came back and did the same thing, man. I wanted to come and do content for you guys, but at the end of the day, online isn't real life. Online is infested by bots, by narrative pushers, unfortunately, it also has a sea of people that just want to connect. And we don't necessarily know what's real and what's not real these days, and that's probably the hardest thing for me. But what is real to me is the fact that now that I've got this job that I probably should have had the entire time, and now that I have days off, I'm motivated and ready to make content because let's be honest with you, I don't mean this narcissistically because I found that out. I went from 500 pounds down to 200 pounds. I did it without prescriptions. I have willpower and a mindset that should be crafted. I don't say this to make my ego sound great, but you need people in your life that will bust their ass harder than anybody else. But those same people-pleasing people, and I know if you're watching this video, maybe you're somebody that takes care of other people. You're somebody that watches after others and you make excuses and you say, well, I have to do this, I have to do that. No, put yourself first. You cannot take care of other people unless you take care of yourself first. And as hard as the job is that I have, being physical, constantly moving around, I love where I'm at. Because I never lied to the person that I was with. I never lied to my friends from a former life, acquaintances. It just took me finding out who I truly was to become the best version of myself. So if you're somebody that was trying to grind online, put in those hours somewhere where it matters. Connect with your friends, your family. Don't just lock yourself in a room and strive away from nothing. But if you're neurodivergent hearing this, now you're probably going to. Until next time.